Hi, this is Gordon C. out in Morgan County, and this video is the part 2 of my spring development. My first part was how I put a spring box back here in this little swampy area, and to get spring, it's a ground spring, to get spring to supplement our rainwater over at our cabin. We live almost all of our water's got from rainwater. I did a roof wash. The rainwater is cleaned by our roof wash, and I did a video on that. And this is a spring I've developed to supplement our water for our rainwater if it gets too dry and we got to use spring water. This is part 2 of spring development. You look at the first video and you'll see how I put a box back here to develop this spring, and it's a ground spring. And again, this is part 2. I brought in a sediment box, and I put a tank and a pump, and I'll show you what I did to get water from this spring over to our cabin. So let me show you. Okay, the spring is back there in those cattail weeds, and you can go see how we developed that spring on our part 1. This is what I've done since. Okay, the spring comes in here, and it comes into this. This is a sediment filter. All this really does, some people call it a spring box, or it's a sediment tank. And what it does is the water comes in from the spring right in there, and it drops into this box, this square box. And what this does is this filters out sediment. The water comes in this hole and goes out this hole, which is lower. And if you look carefully, you can see that there's sun there, but you can see along the edge there's a little bit of sand. The sediment that it catches is sand. Anything that comes out of there, most of it's sand. And you can see that this traps the sand down in there, and then it goes out this pipe down here, and then it goes over down here to the tank. And there's a tank I've got, and I'll show you that in a second. One thing I did want to show you is in the winter time, or when I'm not using spring water, when we're getting all our water from the rain, I have a way to shut this tank off, so I can clean this tank, this sediment box, and I can clean if I have to work on my pump, or a tree falls on it, or whatever I have to work on my tank, I can sort of like divert the spring. Just look here, I have a valve, and it comes out of the spring, and here I have a cap on it, and that cap has it go into the spring box. Now what I can do is take this cap off, take that cap off, and I just plug in this, and this pipe diverts the water down into this other hollow here, and then it goes down, and it's just wasted in the hollow. But in the winter time, when I can't use the spring, or when we have enough rainwater and I don't need water from the spring, I can just divert the water with that valve. I can shut this valve off here. Here, let me show you real quick. This is loose, and then I can turn this off. Got to turn it off, and I've shut the water off to the spring box, and the water is coming out here, and then I can just send it on down to the hollow there when I'm not using the spring. So I'll put it back on, and I'll turn the valve back on, and now the water's coming back in there. So this is basically your basic sediment tank. Water goes in there and goes out here, And oh, I thought I'd bring a glass here and show you how clean the water is. The water is very clean. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit from the top, which is where the water comes from. And here's the water right there. Well, I got the Bud Light sign here. Let me show you how clean the water is. It's crystal clear. The water is there. The water is crystal clear. You can see the water. All the sediment is taken out of it. Okay, and now the water comes out of the sediment tank and goes down to my holding tank. This is where I hold the water until I need it across the hollow for if it gets so dry I need spring water. And it comes to my holding tank. This is your standard square 275 gallon water tank. And you go in here, it's kind of rickety. First of all, I have it tied up here. You can see I have it tied to the tree, because if we get too much rain down here, you can see where it's you see where I have it tied to the two trees there. And down here, because if you get a bad rain, this whole tank could get washed right on down through the hollow down there. So you see how it goes way down into my hollow. And so I have it tied up in case so no accidents happen. The tank has like that's the tank that put the pump goes in there, and this here is an overflow valve. This is overflow, and you can see I have a screen on there in order to prevent worms or slugs or insects to get in there. And then inside the tank is I don't know if you can see it in there. There's a tank. There's my tank in there. There's the tank. Okay, and then the tank comes up to there, and here's where the tank comes out. And I have it converted here. This is 3/4 inch pipe, and on the end here I've converted it for a garden hose. This is just a garden hose fitting right here. See the garden hose goes over to the cistern, to my cistern. I also got the electric cord. This is the cord right here. Out of here is the electric cord that comes out for the pump, and that plugs in right there, and then the cord goes on up to the house. So that's how I run a cord 300 feet all the way over to our cabin, which is way over here. I don't know if you can see the cabin, but it's too far to see. It's way out there. Our cabin is way up the top of that, where that daylight is up there. So, and that's where I pump the water to. I got 300 foot of electric line, and I got 300 foot of garden hose. So, and that's pretty much it. The pump, the water comes out of the pump through here, and then it's connected through a garden hose. Then I also have a valve here. See this valve? This is a shut-off valve too. It's shut off right now. Now it's on. But in the winter time, when I have this disconnected, when I'm not using it, then I'll turn this off, and then I unscrew this, and then again, this is to prevent. This here is to prevent slugs or worms or insects or something from getting into the tank. And that's it. It's your basic caged 275 tank, a 275 gallon tank, and that's where I store this is what I store the water in. Oh, it also has a drain valve in the bottom here. Let me show you so that if right here, so that I can, if the water's been in there too long and I don't use it or anything, or I can just dump the water off and down into the hollow. So, and that's pretty much it. That's the tank. The tank in there is it has to take the water 300 feet across there. This is a tank I got for 150 bucks at Amazon that I showed you in there. And it is a well pump. It's a jet well pump that's rated to, it's what you put down in a well. And it's rated to haul water or lift water 200 feet up. And then, it's very powerful. It'll get it over. I don't have to push the water up. I just have to push it across about 300 feet. So, and that's it. This is the spring development that I did from, this is to the finished product. So, the water, by the way, the water in the spring box here is very clean, as I said. However, there is bacteria in it. I had all this water measured by the EPA. I took it to the testing lab in New Lexington, Ohio, and had the EPA test the water. Now, the water coming out here directly out of the spring does have bacteria in it. It's not drinkable, but I took the water down to the tank and I chlorinated the tank. Put just one 3-inch chlorine tablet in there, and then I took a sample, and they said it's clean water, drinkable. You could drink it after you put a chlorine tablet in there. It'll clean all the bacteria out, because then I had it measured again. And I've also had our cistern measured, and it's drinkable water. We won't drink the water, though. I just won't take any chances. The wife drinks the water, bottled water anyway, so. Because if I use the spring water, even though I chlorinated it, I'm just not going to take a chance. We'll just drink bottled water anyway. We use this for toilets, showers, washing clothes. So, but that's my little spring box. Water comes in from the spring back here. It's a box of rocks basically, and I got a video that shows you what we did there. And I stopped it right there, but now I've got the sediment box here, and I piped it all the way through to the tank. That now I can pump it over there and have all the water I want if my rainwater dries up on us. That water, incidentally, that's more than half full. I just turned this thing on about 4 hours ago, and that little amount of water coming out of there that you see, that little amount of water, that filled that tank halfway. So that's over 100, that's about 150 gallons in 4 hours. So that little amount of water gives you a lot. That little amount of water gives you a lot of water. So and that's it. That's my spring, completed spring. This is all 3/4 inch pipe. It's all 3/4 inch pipe. So, okay, this is Gordon at our Morgan County property, just showing you what I did to develop my spring. We'll see ya. Check my YouTube channels and see the roof wash and the video for the doing the putting the spring in back over there.